Most players think defense means suffering, but the Caro-Kann proves the opposite. You get a safe king, strong pawn structure and clear plans without memorizing crazy theories. In this video, I will show you why the Caro-Kann is the perfect for practical players and how one simple idea can change the way you play black forever, right? Let's see how the opening goes. So here the white start with e4. We know that Caro-Kann is the defense play by the players after the move c6, d4, d5, which is a universal top two moves, right? Here white play the move knight c3, which is a sub variation of the main line. Here black continue with d takes e4, knight takes e4. As you are a intermediate player, you know the next move, right? Developing the bishop to f5, right? Bishop to f5. So if you are a beginner and do not know the opening, right, just think, right, here we just can develop the pieces, right, which is a simple rule. Here black can develop his bishop to d7, or he can just play the move knight f6, right? And he can play the move knight b d7, or he just play the move e6, right? So let me give you why these are the moves which is not correct in this position, because if knight f6, then knights can be exchanged, and which is a slightly not a solid position for black as a beginner, right? So as you are expert, you can handle the position from this, right? But as you are a beginner, these doubled pawns may be slightly weakness for you. So knight f6 was not strongly recommended as a beginner. So knight can be played to d7, which blocks the c8 bishop, right? So you again want to place the knight to b6 or f6. So it's a extra tempo move. You just play the knight in front of the bishop, right? And you can play the move bishop d7, which does not play any, or it does not give any useful things. It just stand before the queen and just sees the c6 pawn. It's a waste of move. So here we develop the bishop and at the same time attacks the e4 knight. So here white replay with knight c3 or knight g3, right? So if knight c3, then it's a simple move, right? But why play the move knight c5? Here is a different variation continues. You should learn this variation first. So in the upcoming videos we will see the next variations of Caro-Kann, right? Here black continue with e5, which is a strong move here, because if d takes e5 as a beginner, white plays, then he is met with bishop c5. Simply the knight is chopped. So e5 is to be carefully played by the white. So here white will play, just take this juicy b7 pawn, right? This b7 pawn will be taken. You need to play the move queen, right? You have to move the queen. Queen can go to these squares, right? So let's see what are the importance of every square, right? Right, queen a5 can't be played because of knight takes a5. So knight controls a5 and d6, so two squares are blocked. Now queen c8 does not give any advantage, because if queen c8, then knight can reroute back, or knight can be go to other, or knight can exchange, right? So queen c8 is a slightly passive move. Or you can play the move queen b6, right? It attacks the knight and attacks the d4 pawn. A simple move with a double attack. So we see it's a double attack move. Or you can play the move queen d5 also, right? Centralizes the queen and you met with, or c4 like that. Or you can just take queen takes d4, but it's a slightly plus for white, right? He takes back, and it's a great position for white, right? So it's not recommended to take the pawn on d4. Queen b6 is the move, right, which double attacks knight c5. As he goes back, d, sorry, e takes d4. Now the knight is hanging. Don't be jealous when you play as white just to take the d4 pawn, then bishop takes c5 is coming. So white will play knight b3. Now you need to save this pawn, right? You can play c5. Let's see what the opening goes. Bishop to b4 check. First he gives a check, right? Then bishop d2, then knight f6. Here as a black we just develop the pieces, right? Here white pieces are just crumbled and his king side is completely not developed, right? These squares are simply just not does anything, right? This square does not play any role in this game till now. So black has more developments rather than white. Bishop d3 for the exchange of f5 bishop. Bishop takes, c takes. Then castles. Knight e2, he develops his knight. c5. Here is the key move, right? If you think that he just developed his knight, uh, you does not see the move. He attacks the pawn on d4, right? He 2 times attacks it, so we need to defend it by c5, right? Castles. Bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, knight b d7, right? Here black can play the move knight c6, but the next move rook c1 makes some difficulties to black. Just attacking the c5 pawn, you need to bring back this knight to d7 to support this. So for that you need to do things. In the next repetitive move he plays the move knight b d7, which just supports the c5 pawn. Knight a5, he is trying to bring his knight to c4. Now you stop that by playing knight e5 also can be played, right? Here he played rook e8. Can just play the move knight e5 and stop knight c4. So but black play the move rook d8, knight g3, knight e5. Now he plays the move knight e5, which stops the c4 knight. Rook fc1 attacks c5, right? He controls the semi-open c5. Rook b8, knight b3, rook bc8, right? Here he controls the semi-open file and supports the c5 pawn, right? White can play the move queen c2 and attacks this pawn, but we can play the other move, right? We just bring back this knight here, right, after queen c2, so we can just support the system. So I think that's important. Or queen c2 is met with c4. If takes, then rook takes. It's a great position for black. So simply solid for black, right? As you play Caro-Kann, you feel solid, and it's a important position to understand the things inside the Caro-Kann. Knight c5 line, right? Here e5 knight is somewhat strong. It controls the key squares, right? d3, c4, g4 and f3. So if further in the future, if white plays the move g3, then knight f3 4 can happen. He can bring his knight to d7 or c6 whenever he wants, right? So these are the things. And white also has solid position. He can bring his rook c2 and bring the other rook to c1, just double up and attack c5. Or he can play the move like after playing knight to c1 or d2, after moving that he can play the move a4, a5, just attacks the queen side of the black. So here are the things, right? So this is the variation of knight c5. I think you understand the variation clearly. So in the next video we will see the next variation. So like, share and subscribe to Checkmate City for more videos.